Hello everybody, welcome to another leg day with Ketchup, VII. My name is Luke Gargano and let me take you through my leg day. Okay, so first movement. Again, we're always trying to focus on compound movements whenever we are trying to focus on either fat loss or muscle gain. So my personal goal right now is to get to 220 pounds by March of next year. I am currently weighing in at 201 pounds. Therefore, I am trying to increase in my compound movements in the sense of either reps or weight, at least on a weekly basis. It's not always going to necessarily be that case, but for me personally, that's how I'm tracking progress. So my first movement here is a standard barbell squat, and I was shooting for 4 sets of my first set. So I'm doing like a reverse pyramid where basically my first set, I'm starting off with a weight that I can do, that I can perform 12 reps with, 12 reps. Second set, I would drop the reps by 2, increase the weight. That way I can perform 10 reps. The third set, increase the weight again. That way I can get 8 reps. And the fourth set, I would increase one more time. That way I can get 6 reps. Now, the footage that you're watching here is my third set where I'm trying to shoot for 8 reps. I'll be honest with you. I feel like I did go a little bit too heavy. Just as you can see the final reps there, my back was kind of like folding into the movement. That you don't want to do that. You always want to drive with your heels, meaning your feet are firmly onto the ground, which is the case when you're watching the footage, yes. However, I am using my lower back a little bit to try to drive that weight up towards the latter half of these sets because obviously my legs were exhausted. So yeah, guys, just tips like that to keep in mind for injury prevention. Second exercise for the day, what we ended up doing was a stiff-legged deadlift with a barbell, and we shot for 4 sets of approximately 8 to 10 reps, really emphasizing the squeeze in the glutes on this movement. So you could do this movement 2 ways. Either one of them by disengaging the glutes, by simply just as you're coming up, just squeezing the hamstrings and stopping right before your legs become completely straight. And then the second way that you can do it is obviously the way that you're watching this footage, is basically squeezing your glutes right at the top of that movement. So if you see I'm coming down, as I'm coming up, squeezing those hamstrings and glutes together, almost like I'm thrusting in the air. See, thrust, boom. That way my glutes are fully engaged. And yeah, guys, this is a great mass builder for your hamstrings, but also for your glutes. And once again, depending on the variation that you're doing for that particular day. Now, this third movement, guys, I'm telling you, destroyed my legs. By this point, I was exhausted already from those barbell squats and the barbell stiff-legged deadlifts. But these walking lunges, guys, you want to make sure that whenever you're doing a workout, it doesn't matter if it's chest day, a back day, or a leg day, you always want to incorporate at least one unilateral movement into your exercises, meaning that you are emphasizing the primary focus on one muscle or one side of the body over the other at a time, okay? That way your body can grow equally. So here I did walking lunges, 4 sets of approximately 10 to 12 reps per leg. Now, notice how I say per leg. So most people will hear 10 to 12 reps and they'll think, okay, after I perform 10 total reps, which means 5 reps per leg, I'm done the set. No. You want to make sure that, when you're doing something like lunges, especially if you're doing walking lunges, you want to pick a weight where you can go within the 8 to 12 rep range. That way you're pumping blood into your muscles and you're forcing that lactic acid to stay in those muscles. This is a great burnout for the legs. I love incorporating a lunge variation. I'll be honest with you, see that guy chilling in the corner there? Didn't want anything to do with those lunges, guys. I'm telling you, those lunges will fry you up. Okay, now, fourth movement of the day. Again, we're focusing on that unilateral movement per day, where in this case, I am performing 2 unilateral movements on this particular day. One of them being those lunges, and the second one being a single leg press, okay? So the focus here, guys, is hamstring. Now, why do I say that? If you take a close look at my foot positioning on this exercise, okay, you'll notice how my toes are almost slightly off the pad of the leg press. And the reason being is the higher your foot stance is on the leg press, on the pad of the leg press, the more of an emphasis you're going to have on those hamstrings and glutes as you're trying to drive that weight back up on the concentric portion of the movement. The lower your feet are on the pad, you're going to have more of an emphasis on your quad, but you're also putting your knee at risk, guys. So if you're trying to really develop your hamstrings or overall leg development, where you don't want overbearing or over dominant quads, you want to be incorporating exercises that primarily focus on hamstrings and glutes more so than quad exercises. So that's why on this particular day, I positioned my feet higher up on the pad, and I completed 4 sets of 10 to 12 reps per leg before I rested. As I'm watching this footage over, I'll be honest with you guys, this is Monday's footage. I will be very honest with you, at the end of this workout, I did yak. This is the first time in my whole life when I was in all of my history of working out that I actually yacked. This workout pushed me over the limit. I really am trying to push myself, obviously within reason, right? Like, I'm not trying to push myself to hurt myself, but, this workout really tested my, I wouldn't even say patience, because, not really patience, but it really tested my mental strength to persevere and to push through to the end. So yeah, guys, a little bit of a tangent there, but just bad memories of this workout. Good memories when I'm looking back on it on the long run, because I'm not doing it right now. But yeah, the footage that you just finished watching, I performed 3 sets of 10 to 12 reps of a Smith machine variation of a hip thrust. Once again, predominantly focusing on the glutes, right? Notice how I'm focusing on my glutes and hamstrings more so than my quads. Your quads are going to get hit, guys, when you're doing squats, when you're doing lunges, even when you're doing that leg press variation where it's supposed to target your hamstrings. However, not many people will focus solely on exercises that have to do with glutes, that are associated with hamstrings, that disengage the quad. That way your legs grow evenly and together, and it's not like when I'm looking at you from the front view, all I see is your quads, and then when I look at you from the back, you got nothing there, right? You want proportionate muscle groups, you want proportionate body parts. That's how you get that aesthetic look. That's how you fill out your pants or your jeans or your suit pants, whatever you're wearing, right? Like you want that look of fullness. You don't want like patches of your body that are not developed. And I see so many people complaining, guys, about, I train legs 3 times a week. Why are my legs not growing? Well, they're probably not growing because you're noticing that they're not growing in particular areas. You want to be focusing on specific areas that need more development over others, right? So once again, like the exercise you just saw before this footage was a rope cable pull through, which is all glute predominant. And then here, this, the place that I'm training at right now doesn't have a hamstring curl machine. So that's not an excuse not to perform a hamstring curl variation. I personally have never done a hamstring curl variation other than a machine-based one. But this is the time where, you kind of have to think outside of the box, where it's like, okay, I need a hamstring variation. Am I going to use a band, or like I tie it against like a pole, pardon me, attached to my heel and do hamstring curls that way? Or I can step out of my comfort zone and try this new variation, which was a dumbbell hamstring curl. And I'll tell you guys, this fried out my hamstrings. Like at the end of this, especially because I was focusing within the 12 to 15 rep range for 4 sets with 30 seconds rest in between each set, my hamstrings were destroyed. And then thankfully, the footage that you're watching here is just isolation work, just to finish off the workout. You want to focus a little bit on isolation work. Again, isolation work is, focusing an exercise solely for hamstrings or solely for quads, and also calves. So what I ended up doing here was I hopped on the leg press machine once again, and I picked a weight that I could perform 4 sets of 21 reps of a calf raise. Okay, a horizontal calf raise. This really put emphasis on the calves, almost like a warm-up for the calves, because now what you're going to watch in the last clip, which is the last exercise, I love to begin or finish my workout with this movement, which is a standing variation. Doesn't matter if it's Smith machine, doesn't matter if it's an actual calf raise machine, or if you grab a dumbbell and you want to grab a ledge and you want to do standing calf raises that way. But a standing, toes elevated calf raise for 4 sets of 15 to 21 reps. And I'm telling you guys, at the end of this workout, at the end of this movement, your legs are destroyed, your calves are fried, and you have yourself one hell of a leg day. So I hope you guys enjoyed it, guys. If you guys enjoyed this workout, leave me a thumbs up in the description box down below, and I will talk to you soon.